Hi everyone. Hi, how are you? I'm Yasmin and I'm really psyched today because we're going to be chatting with Sam Smith. Sam Smith. So Sam's latest album called Love Goes will be out on 30th of October. Class 85, we're already playing Sam's latest single called Diamonds and we're loving it. We hope you are as well. So let's get to it. Let's chat with Sam Smith. Hey Sam, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's so good to see you.
Good, thanks. I love all the flowers behind you.
These flowers, we love it as well. So we're going to dive in and talk about your latest album, Love Goes. But before that, you've shared that the last 2 years have been very experimental for you, both personally and artistically. Maybe you could share more about the journey.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, of course. So last 2 years, well, I'm 28 now, so it's been 26 and 27. Those are the ages of my years, and of those years, and yeah, it's been intense. I've been growing up. Hangovers have got worse. More responsibilities in my life. I've learned more about relationships, about love, about I'd say the main thing that I've learned over the last 2 years is. I've tried to figure out how to not be insecure. I've spent a lot of my life and my childhood feeling very insecure about my body and my sexuality and myself. And the last 2 years was this amazing time where I focused on trying to free myself a little bit. And it's a work in progress every day, but it's been good.
Oh, Sam, you are not alone. Thank you for sharing that. Now let's talk about your latest album, Love Goes. It was called something else before this new title. So why the title Love Goes?
Yeah, well, Love Goes, for me, Love Goes is taken from the song, and the lyric in the song is, that's how love goes. And for me, that's what this album symbolizes for me. My first 2 records were made about unrequited love. I was in a relationship, but they weren't, I liked the person more than they liked me. So I don't actually think that it was the first 2 albums were about a sharing of love. It was more one-sided. And this album kind of marks my first ever relationship. So for me, Love Goes, the title really just marks my first time I've really started to understand what love is. And so, yeah, that's what it means.
And how is this album different from your other albums?
I'd say this album's a lot poppier. I've spent a lot of time with some of the most amazing pop writers with this record. My last 2 records were pretty much made in the UK with similar people. I spent a lot of time in LA with this album and really wanted to test myself as a melody top liner and put myself in the room with some of the best pop writers in the world, and it was wild. So yeah, that was writing wise. I'd say this album is way more poppier and it's lighter. I'd say each song's a little bit lighter. I'm not like, when I'm singing about my feelings this time, I'm trying to I went in the studio and I didn't want to be depressed in the studio. The studio became this safe space of fun and play for me this time round. So I'd say it's a funner album.
So Sam, looking back and comparing how you wrote your first album versus the current one, what do you think has changed?
I think that what's changed for me the most is that I've been bringing out music now for 8 years. I know that's not a long time, but I was 20 years old when I brought out my first album, and I think that the incredible reaction to my first record and the fame that came with it, I think really definitely affected my creativity when I was writing music. For the first time ever, I was in the studio knowing that there was going to be people waiting to hear my music. And I think that definitely affected my writing a little bit for a while. But what's changed for me with this album is I don't care anymore what anyone thinks. And genuinely, what I care about is making something that makes me happy and makes me smile. And if I do that, then the rest, then I don't mind about the rest. You know, some people are going to love what I do sometimes, and then they won't like what I do other times, because that's what music is. You know, that's the beauty of music. So yeah, I think that's what's changed with this one. I felt freer.
That's a great place to be. Aww. Now, when we listen to Love Goes, is there a way that we should listen to it? Maybe from beginning to end, we should listen to it at night. What do you recommend?
Yeah, do you know what? With this album, more than my other ones, for me, each song on this album is a completely separate story and feeling. I've gone into the studio, and every single time I've been in the studio, I try and make something completely different. You know, my musical taste is so varied and so large. So I feel like this album really, you see the scope of my musical taste. So when you're listening to the record, I just say, treat each one like a separate movie and feeling. It's not necessarily an album that you listen to from start to finish and it's one emotion and story. There's so much in each song. That's why I've used the flowers, because each song feels like a different, you know, emotion and feeling and yeah, prettiness.
Now, speaking of flowers, we have this beautiful backdrop behind me, and I do believe you shared before that if you weren't a singer, you would be a florist. So my question would be, which flower would you say best represents you?
Oh my gosh.
Jang, jang, jang.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be a florist now. I'd actually work, I don't know if do you know what a garden centre is? Do you have garden centres over there?
Yes.
You do? Okay, cool. So I think I'd work in a garden centre. But okay, if there was one flower that would represent me, I would say daffodil. Because when I was a kid, I was born in May, and daffodils probably come out the end of March. So after the horrible winters we have over here in the UK, seeing a daffodil for me always made me very, very happy, because I knew spring and my birthday was around the corner.
Oh, Sam, I love that. Now, every time I see a daffodil, I'm going to think of you. So this next question is going to be a little bit hard, I think, but what would be your favorite song on this new album?
My favorite song off the album is a song called Another One, which is for me, it was just one of the most incredible writing experiences I've had. Such an amazing form of therapy, and for me, this is the song I listen to the most every day. I call it a dance and cry song, because because you can dance to it, and you can also like be sad when you're dancing. And then my other favorite tune would probably be my collaboration with Labrinth on the album, which is the name of the album, Love Goes, which is I don't want to give away too much with this song, because it's absolutely nuts, but for me it was just it was honest. I sound cheesy when I say this, but it was a spiritual experience making the song with Labrinth. You know, being in the room with him and writing together like that was incredible. So I can't wait for people to hear that.
Ah, you're such a tease, Sam. You're such a tease. Okay, so next question. You've shared that the last 4 years have seen tremendous growth for you. So what would you tell your younger self? Jang, jang, jang.
If I could talk to younger me, the only thing I'd say to my younger self is take your top off. Now when I get naked, I'm so pale because my boobs have never seen the light of day. So I would say to my younger self, take your top off, enjoy your body, stop caring so much about whether people are looking at you, because people aren't looking at you. Everyone's looking at themselves. That's what
Definitely.
I'd say.
So Sam, final question. What is the one thing or the one message that you would like to get out there?
Oh gosh, there's so many things I want to tell everyone. That was a lovely question. What I'd love to tell people is the last 4 years of my life, even though I'm very lucky, I know I'm very lucky, and obviously, you know, I'm very, very lucky in many, many ways. But the last 4 or 5 years of my life have been very, very difficult for me. You know, I've really suffered with my mental health. The trajectory to fame and everything made me really struggle. But what was such a, for me, a sad and difficult time, I took that and I made something beautiful out of it. And that to me is what art is, and creativity. And, you know, I feel like that leaks into all different aspects of life. So if I was to tell anyone anything, I'd just say this album for me and me doing what I'm doing is proof that time goes on and you can get through anything in your life. You just got to wait and sing through it and open your heart to horrible moments, you know, lean into that vulnerability.
I love that. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sam. You are an amazing human being. Keep doing what you do. We love you, and congratulations on your new album. Love Goes will be out on 30th of October. Bye, Sam. Bye. Love ya.